I try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. I'll try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. On a fall day, you had asked me for my love, my friend. You said that I could trust you. Yeah, you said you're gonna be my man. Ooh, one lie led to another, and I know that I lied myself. You see, one lie leads to another lie, but how many men do all lies kill? I try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. I'll try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. Come on, well give me your excuses. Lord knows I heard them all. So has your mama and the FBI, and they're both listening through the wall. They said one lie leads to another. I told it to the policeman. He said one lie leads to another lie. But how many lies kill how many men? I try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. I'll try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. What part of love don't you understand? Say what part of love, love don't you understand? And some folks say, man, take it easy. Some folks say, man, take a walk. Well, maybe I'll take myself on down to the river and throw myself off the dock. When you see my body floating on by, you can throw me down a reef. Then you can send my bleeding heart off to Washington. Attention, Commander-in-Chief. Woo! I try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. I'll try to keep it simple so you understand. I'm giving all the love that I can. Said I'll try to keep it simple so that you would understand. The only thing worse in the whole wide world is another silent man. Say the only thing worse in the goddamn world would be another quiet man. You know I'll try to keep it simple. I give you all the love that I can.
Start off our show here called Punk Rock Demonstration with the Slackers. That song's called Keep It Simple. Heard Slackers played over the weekend, and unfortunately I couldn't attend, so figured I'd play it on the show today. Was too busy this weekend looking for a new car. Finally ended up buying a new car. It's still too much technology there, but definitely much better than the previous car that I lemoned. That thing had technology that just didn't work. Way too much technology, but half of it didn't even work. At least this car, it's a 2025 model, brand new car, but the technology looks like it's ancient, and half the stuff doesn't even exist. Like it says, these newer cars have like navigation and all these packages, but this car doesn't support it, which is good because I don't like those things. I don't want to be monitored by the car manufacturer and having to buy all these subscriptions to make technology work in the car. So far it seems to be okay. Hopefully it lasts a long time and won't piss me off as much as the previous one, which was a 2024 model. Maybe 2024 was just a bad year for technology because that's when they first started coming out with new technology, the safety sense nonsense, but they haven't quite perfected it. This new car has all those safety features, but it's less intrusive, and you can actually turn some of the stuff off, unlike the previous car where it was on and that was it. You can't even disable it or tone it down or whatever. This one has like dynamic adjustments and allows you to turn some of the stuff off, or just warn you and not take action, which was one of the options. But enough of that. Listening to the Punk Rock Demonstration, as I said. I'm Jack. My website is punkrockdemo.com. Again, that's punkrockdemo.com. Let's continue with the Voids here. This song's called Altered Images.
A constant stream of illusion, designing you out the world to town was summer crowds with the piercing winds. A cabin stands alone where the woods grow thin. Sharp face protruding through a grin. My soca dear, please let me in. And she could count the scars from the years of wars that she suffered through. Stepping up this time, she knew what she had to do. She felt the moment to her core. Her double barrel put it out the door. Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna take me down. There's still a beating heart beneath the ground. Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna knock me dead. Can I kill what lives inside your head? Knock, 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 a steady pounding on the cracking door. Set the hinges flying onto the splintered floor. She knew what it was knocking for. She let a double barrel roar. Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna take me down. There's still a beating heart beneath the ground. Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna knock me dead. Can I kill what lives inside your head? Through a gale, a seabird flies on broken wings. We walk the earth atop the soil of fallen kings. We walk the ruins that remain. Can't strip the violence from the pain. I'll never more pray for rain. Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna take me down. There's still a beating heart beneath the ground. Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna knock me dead. Can I kill what lives inside your head? Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna take me down. There's still a beating heart beneath the ground. Into the mouth of the wolf, you're never gonna knock me dead. Can I kill what lives inside your head? Inside your head. Roll it up and head on out. You know what it's all about. Meet me there. You know where. You don't care. I don't care. I just low, feeling slow. Hanging at the studio. Meet me there. You know where. Leave it up there every day. Can't remember the reasons offhand. My life goes on as an obligation. We all unite by the fire's light. To wander deep. Wander deep. I propose a toast to the ones who care the most. All the rock and roll kids who make their own clothes. Spray city lights, I just couldn't sleep right. So left that city despite all of your advice. I can't remember the reasons offhand. My life goes on as an obligation. We all unite by the fire's light. To wander deep, wander deep. Roll it up and head on out. You know what it's all about. Meet me there, you know where.
Heard TV Dead with Obligation, and some Rum Jacks with Hestia, Emmy Pop with Venezia, before Rum Jacks and some Wine Lips. Drank too much wine yesterday. Still a little intoxicated this morning when I got up, and finally ready to do the show. Sober. I was trying to finish off this old bag of wine in the refrigerator, and it just didn't quite fit in the cup. And I just kept filling the cup and trying to drain the bag, and for some reason the bag just kept on pouring into my cup, and eventually I emptied the bag and drank too much. So that was that unintentional drinking too much. But oh well, at least that bag of wine does not take up space in my refrigerator anymore, so that's a plus. So let's just continue with some more punk rock before I talk about some more random things. Let's continue with some Zeke. This song's called You. Heard some Shock Nagasaki there with I Get High in Low Society, Violent Affair with Dead to Me before Shock and Nagasaki, and then we heard some All Out Attack with Broken Homes, Barking Mad with One Life before All Out Attack, and the Wee Beasties with Shed Some Skin. It's almost January, it's crazy. almost Christmas time. I think Christmas is like 2 weeks. I'm not quite sure if I want to do a Christmas show, considering Christmas is like, what, on a Wednesday or something? Or was it a Thursday? I think Christmas Eve is on a Wednesday, and Christmas Day is on a Thursday, and then Friday is a work day. Considering Christmas is on a Thursday, I'm sure New Year's will also be on a Thursday, and it'll be annoying when the day after New Year's is a work day. They should just make the whole month of December a holiday or something like that, so that way they can cover Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's at the same time. Just let everyone be off on their merry way in December. But that's not going to happen, so I guess we'll just continue listening to some more punk rock here in the punk rock demonstration. Let's continue with some Briggs. This song's called Common and Unknown.
Here is the face of common and unknown. Spends life shaping his fingers to the bone. High on the dreams, so loud is the drone. Those guiding voices that carry him back home. Don't want your freedom, don't want your peace. Just want the pleasure of being on my knees. A part of flesh, bought and sold. It goes back, it's only bone. And who are you to suffer the shortest choice for you? Now don't you waste it. Here is the face of common and unknown. Spends life shaving his fingers to the bone. High on the dreams, so loud is the drone. Those forgotten voices that carry him back home. Trade is color for your time. Can't make the money, can't do the time. No longer good, innocent or evil. Don't cross the line and you'll remain equal. What is the price? And has he paid? Is that the way it must be? And I don't want it. Here is the face of common and unknown. Spends life shaving his fingers to the bone. High on the dreams, so loud is the drone. Those forgotten voices that carry him back home. Don't want your freedom, don't want your peace. Just want the pleasure of being on my knees. A pound of flesh, bought and sold. It grows back, it's only bone. And you don't bleed just like me. What does the sunshine ends when I stop breathing? Here is the face of common and unknown. Spends life shaving his fingers to the bone. High on the dreams, so loud is the drone. Those forgotten voices that carry him back home. Here is the face of common and unknown. Spends life shaving his fingers to the bone.
to destroy Japan's power to make war.
down, push your booty at the ground. There's something going down. Something going down and the whole world's watching. Everybody knows, but a precious few are talking. Take everything you can, then leave the meager stuff to the rest. Then blame it on the press. There is something bugging me. Don't want the whole wide world to see. Situations getting bleak. In fact, I think it's killing me. Something going down, cooking lips, I think it's snapping. Meanwhile, Daddy and his all got some laughing. Spreading all his lies, propaganda, division, and hate. Now we gotta wait. There is something bugging me. Don't want the whole wide world to see. Situations getting bleak. In fact, I think it's killing me. Mr. President, warm and deep regards. There is evidence buried in your backyard. Attorney General, hope that all is well. From your mansion, you'll be going to a cell. Everybody knows you're lying. Trusting me's why are you still trying? Healthcare is a human right. War spinning while our people rot. We find the head dollars shines in their eyes. Insurance companies can make them mobilize. Every other modern nation ensure the health of its own people. Yet a tax dollars, send drones, bombs, away. Don't get sick in the USA, or there will be some hell to pay. Dollar signs in the system's eyes, and those who love will pay with their lives. Don't get sick in the USA, or there will be some hell to pay. Dollar signs in the system's eyes, and those who love will pay with their lives. Healthcare is a human right. War spending while our people run. We find the heads, dollar signs in their eyes. Insurance companies can make them mobilize. Every other modern nation ensure the health of its own people. Get our tax dollars, send drones, bombs, away. Don't get sick in the USA, or there will be some hell to pay. Dollar signs in the system's eyes. Those who love will pay with their lives. Don't get sick in the USA, or there will be some hell to pay. Dollar signs in the system's eyes. Those who love will pay with their lives. Go say some human lies.
Here's some Evacuate there with Blood Money, and some Mesa Lanes with Mr. President, Narcoleptic Youth with Raw Nerve before Mesa Lanes, and heard Tone Junkies with Marketplace before Narcoleptic Youth, and Hated Till Proven with 1945. Find all the playlists for all these shows by going to punkrockdemo.com. Again, that's punkrockdemo.com. I usually publish the playlists a little bit later in the week after the show broadcasts, because I got to type it out and all that stuff. It takes a lot of time to do that. And now that Facebook doesn't allow me to tag people, well, not tag as many people, I stopped tagging people. So yeah, you just have to go on there to find the playlists every week. punkrockdemo.com. Also, you can get on there and send in songs if you're a band, make requests, lots of stuff you can do on there. So now that you've got that information, let's continue with some more punk rock with Firecracker 500. This song's called Evil Love.
It's not a sad story. It's just life. Hey! 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 1, 2, 3, go! Well, I was just a kid of 6, and I'm off the ball line and arms like sticks. Rented a litter with no friends of my own. Got beat on the streets, I beat at school. Being at home, I was black and blue. I fight back, what's a boy to do? So I run, over to the back, and I keep on running for a good attack. Every day I fight, just to survive. Even our kids smaller than me would get up and cruise and terrorize me. I roll out of windows just to run home. top. I asked my grandpa what's a boy to do. He said, pick up that shit, stick out that chest, knock it all off, you're better than the best. Give him hell, boy, then give us some more. So I run out, turn my back, and I hit him first before he could attack. He started crying, and I just laughed. So I hit him again. I ain't gonna beat down on our friends. This little boy, he ain't scared no more. Hold your ground, don't back down. Keep on swinging when you're down. When you're down. Hold your ground, don't back down. Keep on swinging when you're down. When you're down. Keep on swinging when you're down. When you're keep on swinging when you're down. When you're down. This is not a sad story. It's just luck.
Heard some Cause of Death there with Radiation Burns, and some Jagoffs with Class War before them, Pistol Grip with Rabid Dogs before the Jagoffs, and some Antagonizers ATL with Hold Your Ground. I've got lots of new songs here, and we'll start those really shortly. Right now I'm going to continue with some Knocked Out Cold before that. This song's called American Way.
short, don't wasted. Be dumb and foolish. Mistakes are there for you. Mistakes are there for you. Mistakes are there for you.
Heard 5 songs, live songs from this Damn It Records compilation, December 2025. Been playing those all this December. That song you just heard was by Crash Induction. The song's called Prosthetic Leg. Some Wave of Sheep with Leave Me Alone before Crash Induction. And some Under the Kosh before Wave of Sheep with a song called Home. The Scavalinas with Be Dumb before Under the Kosh. And some YT 1300 with Mace. All 5 of those songs from that live Damn It Records compilation 2025. Now we're going to continue with songs that people have been sending in throughout the week. You can send in songs also by going to punkrockdemo.com. Again, that's punkrockdemo.com. This is a song that someone sent over, but it's missing the information because it was partially submitted. Their songs came through, but not the information. So if you're this band, then send me over your information so that way I can fill that information out. But it's a song by Carringtons. The song's called Paralyzed. It continues our new music segment.
Night after night, as the cold wind moves, it cuts me through the bone. I cannot hide away from the heart of stone. The world becomes mine, like your sets on the radio. A toy to a twisted mind, resigned and paralyzed. But I am not anymore. Yeah, I'm no doubt anymore. We stare at each other for hours. Eyes burning through my skull. There are no secrets under a million stars. The world becomes mine, like cassettes on the radio. A toy to a twisted mind, resigned and paralyzed. But I am no doubt anymore. Yeah, I'm no doubt anymore. I'm no doubt anymore. I'm no doubt anymore. Yeah, I'm no doubt anymore. Stand still and hold the breath and closing down. Stand by, occupant, shout it out. Let's go! Stand still and hold the breath. Occupation, 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 occupant. We are stuck in the jail. We've been down many times, counted down and we're fine. Hold the system and stick it up yourself. We've been used many times, counted down and we're alive. Hold the Sanchez rock and band. Strangest monkey who hardly hates people or some other things in general. But when they talk to him about the timeless apron wearers, he practically falls off his panties out of sheer rage and anger. Who defended the theory of the non-existence of God throughout his entire life has now been forced to kneel at the feet of the lowly to beg for the freedom of animals. As foaming at the snout, he openly threatens the whole world, calling them bastards, and if they don't free themselves from the yoke that the oxen have around their necks is going to fuck them up. Surrendered itself to the slavers so that they could continue to be fucking. Surrendered itself to the slavers so that they could continue to be fucking. Surrendered itself to the slavers so that they could continue to be fucking. Surrendered itself to the slavers so that they could continue to be and then humanity surrendered itself to the slavers so that they could continue to be fucking. Surrendered itself to the slavers so that they could continue to be fucking.
Burning soul, burning heart, no end in sight and no stop. Angry pain and painful pain. I need to go away, so far away, 'cause I'm driven by dreams, driven by life, driven by hope. I'm driven by illusions, driven by life. Highway life. Let's start right now. No brakes and no border. full speed ahead, searching for my luck. And find and lose, and find again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm driven by dreams. Love, hope, visions, and illusions. I'm driven, 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 driven. It doesn't really matter how many times I failed. It doesn't really matter how deep I fell, 'cause I'm driven, I'm driven. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Driven by dreams, love and hope, visions and illusions. I'm driven.
That was Basement Stars there with I'm Driven, and the Mistaken Identities before Basement Stars with No Live in Peace. Honey Hush with Save Yourself before the Mistaken Identities, and some X-Melon with Dead End Walking. Still listening to the punk rock demonstration. I've got one and a little bit more segments of music here, new music on the punk rock demonstration. By the way, our show's here every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time if you weren't aware, and the show repeats on Tuesdays from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Pacific time. It continues now with Last Defeat. The song's called Waste.
Nobody's back.
du sagtest, ArcelorMittal, hätte nicht gegeben, hätte ich morgen frei. Jetzt muss ich die Pakete austragen. Ich will euch allen gerne die Fresse einschlagen. Faschismus und Huren, schon immer Hand in Hand. Euer alter dummes Maul, was für die anderen vor die Wand. Faschismus und Huren, schon immer Hand in Hand. Euer alter dummes Maul, was für die anderen vor die Wand. Entweder von der Toten, was hat der Pizza nicht mehr sein. Schick einfach nur mit, draufdeck und werd mich schneller.
See beauty in the ordinary. Each new day should bring new joy. This art is made for everybody. Pills of wisdom thus deployed. Oh Corita, señorita. Oh Corita, I'm your man. Oh Corita, none so sweeter. Oh Corita, be my girl. The question to 100 answers, being modern for the times. Snitching in the supermarket, go bold and read between the lines. Oh Corita, señorita. Oh Corita, I'm your man. Oh Corita, none so sweeter. Oh Corita, be my girl. Make love, not war. Fight war, not wars. Make love, not war. Fight war, not wars. Broad, majestic strokes of magic. Wonder Woman's war on want. See the message in the slogan. Behold the sermon in the font. Oh Corita, señorita. Oh Corita, I'm your man. Oh Corita, none so sweeter. Oh Corita, be my girl. Make love, not war. Fight war, not wars. Make love, not war. Fight war, not wars.
Heard some demonic fonts there with O Corita, and some Brief Bomb with Third Untaxis, the Lemon Drop Gang before Brief Bomb with My Mind's Got a Mind of Its Own, and Wasting Time with Ripped Blue Jeans before the Lemon Drop Gang. And let's end off our show here called Punk Rock Demonstration this week with the Fake Friends. This song's called Sucker Born Every Minute. Hope you enjoy the rest of 2025. 2026 is around the corner, and I hope it's going to be a better year than 2025. So I'll talk to y'all next week. Here's Fake Friends. Thanks for listening.